Hey guys, so I recently taught myself to make paper quilled decoupage jhumkas, and you can see mine turned out really nice, really pretty. But one problem that I faced while looking for tutorials is that all tutorials mentioned the use of decoupage paper to make these jhumkas. But since I did not have access to store-bought or ready-made decoupage paper, decoupage tissue, so I had to invent a method for myself because I don't even have a printer, so I cannot print my own decoupage paper. So I thought, why not create my own decoupage paper with no extra costs. Okay, so I have a normal notebook to give support to the tissue while I draw, and I also have a piece of the tissue cut up because I'm not going to need the entire tissue, and I'm going to peel off the layers of the tissue. Okay, now I'm going to just smooth the tissue a little bit before I start drawing. Gel pen, and you're also going to need these pens. You can also use sketch pens if you want to. These work really well for me. Luxor Fine Writer 0.5 series. So to begin, I'm going to start doodling a little pattern. I'm going to just draw swirls. And now I'm going to color it. I have 4 different shades here. I have a deep and light green and a deep and light blue. When you're going to color, you will do it dot by dot because the tissue paper blots. You can see the ink spreading. I'll zoom in a little more. Now when I blot it, you see the ink spreads, so don't worry if a minor white space is left. Just slowly swirl around. Do it in random swirls. Color the random swirls with your deep color, and going to border this one. Okay, so we have our decoupage tissue done. Now I'm going to let it dry for some time. Alright, so this has been drying for the past 4 hours almost, and you can see it's straightened out now. It's completely dry. So now comes the second part. We're going to cut this pattern into small blocks. First I'm going to cut the entire pattern out of the tissue so it will be easier to work with. Okay, so here we have the cut piece, and now we're going to cut it into even smaller pieces so that they are easily usable in our project, because we'll be using these little jhumka bases that I've already made out of quilling paper. I hope you already know how to make these bases. If you don't, there are plenty of tutorials on YouTube, so you can go through one of them. So to begin with, I'm going to hold the pattern on top of the jhumka to see how much it can actually hold. So just these few swirls, you can see this. So just place the pattern on the jhumka to see how much it can hold. So how many little blocks you'll have to cut out of the pattern. So I'm going to cut these little pieces. You can see this little block with this and these 4 swirls. I'm going to cut them out. We're done, and now we're going to adhere these pieces on the jhumkas. So we'll use a little plastic container. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Just a little extra. Okay, we're going to do the same for the glue. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And a little bit extra. You don't need to be really very precise with the measurements. You just have to eyeball them. And now I'm going to mix this very carefully so as to prevent bubbles. Now I'm going to take a jhumka base and coat this with the glue and water mixture, and we will basically let them dry. I'm going to do the same for the other one. Okay, so we're going to let these dry for about 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, so these bases have dried up now, and now I'm going to fix the patterns on the bases. So I'm going to use the same glue and water mixture that I used previously. Just a very thin coat of glue and water mixture. Just coat the area you want the pattern to be on. Okay, it's gone. And now I'm going to pick a piece of the pattern, flatten it out and just paste it on top of the jhumka base. Now, before you completely fix it, make sure it's totally straightened out. Pinch it and straighten it out, and there you go, it's fixed. Moving on to the next side. Just tap it lightly with your finger to make sure it's nicely stuck to the surface. And here's the last part. Okay, so the final result looks something like this. Now we're going to let it dry before we apply another coat of glue and water mixture over this. I'm going to set it aside and do the next one. So the final result looks something like this. Check it out. And now if you think you don't like it this way, like there are too many blank spaces left, You can add some more. Okay, so now that they are completely done, you would like to leave them alone for 24 hours before you coat them with the glue and water mixture. Hey guys, so you can see this has dried up completely, and now we're going to coat these with the glue and water mixture. So before we do that, we're going to take 2 eye pins, and you can see there's a hole right here. Just put it through the hole, push it till it's fixed, and there you have it. I'm going to do the same for the second one. Now you can hold the eye pin and apply the glue and water mixture as you go. So we will leave it to dry for 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, so you can see it's completely dry now, and it has a bit of a shine to it. And now we are going to waterproof these with the help of transparent nail paint. And we're going to leave them to dry. So now that they are completely dry and waterproof, we're going to assemble the rest of the jhumka. I'm going to add these tiny little beads. They're really small, and I'm just going to add one. You can also add bead caps or whatever. I'm going to cut about half an inch, about half an inch. And I'm going to add a fish hook and then close the loop. We're done. Just make sure it's nicely fixed and it won't come off. I'm going to do the same for the second one.